Since the Sandbox fans, we're back, and it's a crazy day. It's the NFL trade deadline. It's obviously election day, but more importantly, Week 10 fantasy rankings.
Dude, hey, we're at Week 10, Steve. It is 5 o'clock.
I'm sad.
It's so dark outside, bro.
Yeah, and like
so
I remember August literally having these conversations, and it's like, well,
like here we'll go. We'll be 10 weeks in
now
before
we're
we
here.
know it, and then it'll be dark,
and we won't be sweating in the studio.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. I mean, I wouldn't go that far just yet, because somehow it's fucking 70 degrees out right now.
Right? Yeah.
Happy November.
Legit. But we get a good Thursday night football game. We'll be flocking up Inland Fields with Uncle Tony on Thursday. I told him already that we bet a Jamar Chase touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only Thursday prop you'll be getting from me because I don't do the Thursdays on the podcast.
But I do think Ravens get it done.
Yeah, I mean they haven't lost to the Bengals in such a long time.
I understand how strong the Bengals pass game is and how much weaker the Ravens pass defense has been this year. But dude, there isn't a weapon on Baltimore that I think that that can be stopped by the Cincy defense.
No, they need a lot of defensive help, and that's just not gonna happen in the midst of weeks because they just played them a couple weeks ago. But I think Bengals know what their reality is. It's like obviously you want to play tough games in the division, but this is a team that's realistically playing for like a wild card spot.
Yep.
And I honestly think with the way that they're playing, is very likely. I think their offense is a lot more explosive than teams like Indy or the Chargers that will be contending for, that spot. And, we'll see what teams like, Miami will have in store. What's Pittsburgh going to be like? Are they going to be, the top seed of the wild card? Is this going to be a team that's on top of the division for the duration of the season? So that's all going to be, very telling over the next couple of weeks. But another week of fantasy football and another week of injuries, dude.
Poor Olave was bad.
Yeah.
That was a tough one to watch.
Dak, I know. Tuan came by for Sunday, and we got to mush everything together.
Yeah, it is my fault. The parlay was a combination. It was a combination.
So the touchdown legs that we talked about were the ones that were iffy, but the yardage props that I gave you were money.
I was going to say Devonta Smith, money too.
Devonta Smith money. H-Chain money.
Bijan was going to be money. Did we even put Bijan in it?
No, we didn't. Yeah, I know.
Let's just do, you know what? We're gonna go in the lab a little bit more extensively than like Sunday at 12:45.
Yeah,
and then we'll come up with something real good to make sure we get posted.
Absolutely,
right. We got you this week, guys. I promise.
It was all Tuan.
It was a team effort. It's always a team effort.
But Dak got banged up, and he's looking at a potential IR stint. Would love that if Dak is to miss the Thanksgiving game, and the Giants draw them in Dallas. Oh, I would love to beat them in Dallas.
G-Men should get a W this week.
Yeah, Carolina.
Dude, they kept it close with Washington for a little bit there again. It's just like it's what they do. And Daniel Jones played good football against Washington again.
Yeah, Drake London. He seems like he's gonna be okay. CD, he got banged up, and I just don't know if they're gonna roll him out there with no Dak. I mean, I don't want to say you're giving up, but it's just all right, you got Mingo at the deadline, that's not gonna win you anything for this year, So
I just think he's probably got yardage totals and touchdowns attached to his contract and incentives and stuff, so he's going to want to get out there if he's healthy
and play. Absolutely. You said Olave, and that AJ Brown obviously helped the Devonta Smith props, and anyone that had Devonta Smith in fantasy ended up having a pretty solid day. But this has just kind of been the season for AJ Brown, dealing with injuries and things like that, and we know that that's not typically something that he deals with. But regardless, Jalen Hurts lighting it up and playing lights out. But we had a bunch of trades go down. Obviously, mentioning the trade deadline went down today. So, Tuan, I put a couple here that I kind of want you to elaborate and maybe rank what you feel like either the impact will be or how you felt about the move. So, Zadarius Smith to Detroit. A couple weeks ago, I called that up on the show.
That's number one because you called it.
Yeah.
Number one because you called it right there.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I think that's it was so obvious that hey, the Browns suck right now. This is a guy that's not a long-term Cleveland Brown or anything like that, and it makes sense for Detroit to, continue being a contender, make that push for a championship, and go get a player like that. You got Lattimore going to Washington. That's a contender move.
That's a good move. That's
Huge
a really
impact move, and I feel like they have some solid pieces in their secondary already. Tre'Davious White to Baltimore is huge because, we felt very iffy about their secondary. Not that they don't have decent players, but it's just that's their weakest link of their defense. Nate Wiggins, obviously a rookie, and then, Marlon Humphrey is in the corner that he was 4 or 5 years ago, and we were kind of on that case a couple years ago as well.
Sorry, Aunt. Yeah. Number 6 and staying at number 6.
Yeah, right.
Now, the Trey White one, just quickly on that.
Yeah.
It's a good move. It's like it shows that they are like, hey, this is the need that we need to address, and they got it. But I don't rank Trey White as like the pre-injury Bills Trey White. Like
no, definitely not.
He's a good corner to go help the room.
It's a great piece for a team like the Ravens to add in at
Yes.
this point in time in the season for the compensation that they gave up for it. I mean, I just don't know like what better you could have gotten. Like obviously they could have considered like the Lattimore move, but honestly, like I don't feel like the play is tremendously different from like White to Lattimore. I will just say the biggest thing that's gonna be the biggest impact out of those moves is we're not gonna see Lattimore or Mike Evans anymore.
No
so
more
like,
Mike Evans ejections. Apparently Puka's gonna take care of that for him now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I know. That was kind of crazy.
Bro, I'm about it.
Yeah?
Fucking square up, Puka, and just fucking go at him.
That's an exciting one for Monday Night Football. I can't wait to talk more in depth on that. Obviously, just have to mention, lastly, the Steelers having huge moves. Not only Mike Williams to add on the offense, but, I mean, Preston Smith to that defensive line with Hayward, Highsmith, and Watt. Bro, that is scary. Peyton Wilson's playing well. Obviously, we know they got Joey Porter and now Dante Jackson and then Minka to take care of all of that. I mean, what a defense, dude.
The Steelers are... Bro, teams better be scared.
Yeah.
Teams better genuinely be scared of... Like, offenses better be terrified walking on that field.
With all of that, do you think that Pittsburgh should be the favorite to win that division? It's close.
Yes, I do.
We haven't seen Pittsburgh and the Ravens play yet.
We haven't. I know that, and I think Pittsburgh's the team that drew like all their division games at the back of the.
Yeah.
I still think they're fine. Like I think they'll take one from the Ravens, and I think Ravens will take another, and I think that's just one of those series that like they're gonna take each other's home game. They're not gonna like. They'll go win it. Like Pittsburgh will go win in Baltimore. Baltimore will go win in Pittsburgh. That's just kind of how it feels. Like
well, no, I was just gonna say that. Like I feel like in those division games when they split. It never goes like the home team like wins at home. Like
exactly.
It's always like the adversity and the story to like go along with it. And usually like a come from behind like win and shit like that too. So
now I also think Pitt's just gonna outmatch a Cleveland Browns team. I do. Yeah. I think with how bad that offense is, Jameis is going to get picked 3 times. If they put DTR and he's going to get picked 3 times. Like, it's just going to go that way. I think they go 2-0 against the Browns. They may split one with Cincy. It all depends on which Cincy team ends up getting rolled out, how they improve, continuing to move on in the season. They didn't deal T. Higgins, which is big for them. So maybe they go 1-on-1 with the Bengals. But if they end up getting 2 against the Browns, 1 against the Ravens, 1 against the Bengals, that should win them the division as long as they're even numbers with Baltimore.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And we just want to see like the trajectory of these teams like continue to grow and like expand. Like obviously, Pittsburgh's been hot. I do kind of feel like they'll slow down it like a little bit, maybe not just win with like the stature that they have been. But like Baltimore too, like I feel like, obviously dropping the game to like the Raiders early in the season was a little bit of an upset, and the teams that they thought they were going to have trouble with like this Sunday when like the Broncos, like they were able to like take care of. So
smack them, dude.
Yeah,
like, that's the kind of win that like Ravens fans need to see to be like, all right. So that loss to the Browns actually means nothing because we just shat all over the fucking Broncos.
No, absolutely. And Jameis is back to being Jameis.
That's what it is, dude. We talked about it. I was talking with Kenny about
all
it,
day
dude.
Sunday.
All day Sunday. Goes, he played great last week. 3 picks today incoming.
Yeah.
What happened? 3 picks.
Absolutely. No,
Should have bet that.
Bro, I'm always a weak weight with like that shit. Like last week I took it. It was minus 220. I was like, oh, what a lock. This week I'm like, you know what? Like maybe
back.
Yeah, I'm like maybe Jameis got it a little bit, and then hell no.
Yeah, you sit there, you're like, this guy fucking sucks.
Absolutely. But I got some bets and teams that I like going into the week. We'll save that for a little bit to break up through the episode. Let's get started with the tight ends. How did you feel about this list this week?
Every week I feel like the tight ends list gets better.
Okay.
I feel like I just like some of the games. Like now, it's not necessarily like the big flashy names. It's ones that we didn't necessarily expect to be in this list a lot this season. So,
absolutely.
I like this list.
Like this list?
Yeah, I like the tight end list.
What I will say, my wide receivers, quarterbacks, and tight ends are all road game heavy. which is kind of crazy. I don't know if like that's something that you mark down like with your matchups and things like that, but I was going through like my wide receivers and my legit first 7 are all on the road. For my quarterbacks, my first 5 are all road quarterbacks, so very interesting. Just a little takeaway there.
Yeah, I got a matchup in the quarterback section. I'm kind of split.
Okay.
I'm kind of split.
All right, well, let's get things going. At 10, tight ends. Don't love the matchup, but, I mean, this week we're missing Bowers, we're missing Njoku, no Kraft.
Yep.
Hunter Henry makes the rankings at 10. In Chicago's a team that wins at home. I expect that to be the case over New England. I do just kind of feel like Henry's their best pass catcher at the moment, so expect that to be consistent going into the week. 9, I have Hawkinson at Jacksonville. I don't know why this spread is only 4 points. It's a little strange to me. I mean, I just kind of feel like Vegas might be up to a little something, but I really think like the Vikings should blow the doors off this team, and Hawkinson should probably get in the end zone. And I know he didn't have like a huge volume start to his season, which just started this past week, but expect that production to slowly progress throughout. 8, I have Laporta against Houston, Sunday Night Football. Finally, a primetime game I'm really excited for that isn't like the Jets or the Steelers or like the Giants. You know what I mean? Different teams. So thank you.
Time, bro.
Yeah,
it's always like
it's literally one of those 3 teams
like
for like
Saints,
the past
Broncos.
Like,
what are we thinking?
Yeah,
what are we thinking with that game?
The
dude?
game makers, like literally, give me that job.
Like,
yeah.
well, I don't know what was playing that. Maybe they were competing with the World Series at the time, and they knew, and they're like, "Well, let's just throw this one away."
Yeah, for sure.
Insane.
For sure. 7, I have Ingram. Didn't love the Ingram matchup, but then again, I'm just like, well, I know like they have BTJ, but besides that, what else? So, I mean, he should get the volume. He should see 6 to 8 targets at a minimum and just kind of work upward from that.
For sure.
6, Kincaid. Just really like the matchup versus Indy. It's definitely not the year that we expected from Kincaid, and this is a team that has a plethora of weapons. So, like, not only in a prop standpoint is it tough to, like, bet this team because, I mean, James Cook barely touches the ball 15 times. Like, Shakir will have a game where he catches the 8 and then he'll catch 3 the next one. Matt Collins will run 60-70% of the offensive snap share and then the next game go 20%. And then Amari Cooper's a high red zone target in the next game like he's not, and it's Keon Coleman. So it's just like, you can't, as a team, that's what you want to see from Buffalo. But in like a gambling and like a fantasy perspective, it's just kind of like tough to kind of keep on top of that. But this is a matchup that screams Kincaid all over it.
Yep, I like it too. So you'll see where I get for Kincaid. He is in the top 5. So give you a heads up there. But 10, I'm right there with you. Hunter Henry. I actually kind of like the matchup against the Bears specifically. I believe they're 20th in PPR points to tight ends in fantasy. And Drake May, like, listen, he's a very talented player, made a sick play at the end of the game.
Sick play.
He can produce an effective catching option. I think Hunter Henry's the guy for them. Like the occasional pop Douglas, sure, but Hunter Henry's the guy. I got him here at 10. 9, I got Mark Andrews. I know you don't do Thursday games.
Love Mark Andrews. You just saw the parlay.
Exactly, dude. Like he's gonna. I think Mark Andrews is gonna have a good game. You could sprinkle Likely. Like Likely might be number 11 here, but
honestly, it came like in that parlay, it came down to picking like one of those two guys. And like the past couple weeks, like Mark Andrews' production, like involvement, has just been drastically more. And like I know, Likely had a big week 1 and then had a 2-touchdown week, but it just doesn't seem as consistent.
And Mark Andrews is such a reliable guy against a team that you play so many times. It's like, you know what you're going to get. I think Mark Andrews is the guy this week. 8, I got McBride. He's been all right. Not as much as I'd like to see. I think it could get tricky for them this week. This feels like one of those weeks that Arizona could just put up a dud.
Jets are going to win this game.
Yeah, Jets are going to win this game. I totally agree. 7, I got Kyle Pitts. Guy's a stud. He's a talented player.
A little low.
Could be a little low.
Low.
I got some guys in the top 5 this week, Steve. I like the matchups a lot. And at 6, I got Ferguson. Again, I don't really know what's going to go on with that because of Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. When these quarterbacks come in, I like them going with their safe blanket option, not knowing what's going on with CD. I think they're just going to have plays where they're trying to make a safe throw to the tight end just to move downfield a little bit. So I think Ferguson's going to have some catches.
No, I mean, you know how big I am on for a game. Last week we literally bet him for a touchdown. That was the worst pick of the
Bro, I
fucking
can't
week.
believe, like, when are they just going to let him have one now?
Yeah. No, I know. This week.
Yeah, this will be
when
it.
he's like plus 380.
I know, fucking A. I'm just going to take Fergie touchdown every fucking week.
Until
I'm
it
literally
hits.
going to do it. I don't care. I'll double down every week.
Oh, man. Yeah, take him for first, like your brother. Take a page out of his book. Nick
Bro,
was
what
hot.
the fuck?
Shout out to Nick. Hit
What
a big
the fuck
first
was
touchdown
that, man?
parlay.
That's what he'll do, is he'll
Yeah.
use that, and then all of that will just go, and then he'll hit another first touchdown.
Yeah.
I'll go. It's like,
Hey, listen, people have their tendencies.
bro, it works.
Yeah.
It works. Whatever keeps you in the green.
Absolutely. 5, I have Auden. I mean, this past week, I thought, like, going against a Kansas City defense that I do feel like is pretty stout, that he wasn't going to be, like, as involved, and it just felt like they found ways to keep him involved. So I think they'll do a very similar type of script going against a team with a similar approach in San Francisco. Big matchup.
Bro, Cade Otton, when we do tight end rankings at the end of the season, Cade Otton's already in the top tight ends.
Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt with the way that this year's played out.
I'd love to see it because, like,
Yeah.
you look at the options, you're like, it's Godwin and it's Evans, and then they'll sprinkle in, like, a Shepard, and they have the running game, and then all of a sudden you're like, and they have Cade Otton as
Who
a
the
weapon
fuck is
now.
this guy?
What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, love to see it, dude. Love
Absolutely.
to see
4, I have McBride. I mean, like, the volume's just too high to kind of, like, slack on him, but, yeah, I mean, definitely want to see a little bit more production. 3, this is where I have Kyle Pitts. I mean,
Okay.
I don't love the matchup, and it's not because it's the Saints. I just actually think that the Saints pull this one out, and if that's the case, it's not going to be a 30-30 ball game. It'll be like a 2019 scrappy NFC South, a bunch
Field
of
goals,
coo
field
and
goals.
groupie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So. We got a couple big weeks from Pitts that like we really weren't expecting, and got him a lot more respect on this list, and I think in a lot of different formats on where to take him and where to value him going forward, and a guy that was most likely going to be in like around like a contract year probably earned himself not breaking the bank tight end money, but a long-term extension in Atlanta. I think so, at least. So
I would agree.
2, Kelsey going against Denver. I know Denver's had a pretty decent defense, but the Chiefs just kind of beat up on this division. And 1, I mean, Kittle has a great matchup. I mean, honestly, might be a great bet for like 2 touchdowns, Kittle on Sunday. I like the quarterbacks in this one. Interested to see the way this one goes. I kind of wanted to be Bucks heavy on this, but it just doesn't sit right with me to take them on a losing streak like that. So
It doesn't, but that's kind of when Baker fucking
cooks.
because Bucks.
He's playing good.
He's playing good, dude, and he's keeping his team in the game without his 2 best weapons. So it's just like it's encouraging to see if you're the Bucks to be like, dude, we're still fucking hanging in here.
Absolutely.
Like we'll steal a couple games.
Absolutely.
5, I got Hawkinson. I think he gets back in this week. Maybe not the end zone, but like he's back in his rhythm this week.
50 plus.
Yeah, 50 plus, 5 catches, maybe a score. I like him this week. Kelsey, I think he's the Broncos killer. Like he will score a touchdown against the Broncos. He might be a guy that scores 2 touchdowns this week. He scores against Denver, man. It's Denver and Vegas. Like he beats up on it.
Yeah.
The Chargers, like Derwin James, the ghost of Derwin James gets to him just a little bit sometimes. But 3, I got Kincaid, matchup based, purely matchup based. Love it. I think that he's gonna have a good week this week. We're due for a Kincaid like absolute 17-pointer, 20-pointer. I think we get it this week.
10 catches, 140 yards, that type
Something
of game.
big. Like he's due. 2, I got Cade Otton. I mean, this guy's playing like one of the best tight ends in the NFL right now. But number 1, it's George Kittle, because George Kittle's George Kittle. He is the best tight end in the NFL right now.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. All right,
QBs?
quarterbacks.
Let's go,
Let's
baby.
go.
Let's go.
12. This is an interesting list.
Okay.
12, Matthew Stafford.
12, Matthew Stafford.
Okay. Kind of wanted to have him a little bit higher, but I couldn't. I mean, I love the fact that he gets like his weapons back, like having like those wide receivers would boost any quarterback production when you have 2 of them that are great. Kyron didn't get in the end zone this past week. That broke a 9-game streak, but definitely expect him back in there. We'll talk more about that once the running backs come around, but I think there's going to be points galore scored in this one. Like, I know a couple years ago we saw, a crazy shootout with Goff and the Rams. Like, this one's kind of giving me that feel. Tyreek's due. We'll talk about that. I like points to be scored in this one. I really do. So don't disappoint Monday Night Football. 11, I have Mahomes. He's earned his spot back. I mean, going against Denver, I don't think it is the best matchup, but seeing how easy everything kind of is for Kelsey, for D-Hop making a seamless transition. You got Hunt that's playing well, and then you're going to add Pacheco to this in a week or two. Like, bro, like, over the past 5 weeks when we thought this team was going to regress and drop some, they got better. And, like, that's the difference between them and the rest of the contenders in the NFL is they always find ways to win, and they always find ways to get better. That's a huge part for the Kansas City Chiefs and a huge testament to their success. 10, low. Don't like the matchup. CJ Stroud.
Not on the list, Steve.
Okay, so you feel very similar.
I don't love this. I don't love this for them right now. Listen, I like Nico Collins a lot. I don't know, dude. I've seen too many performances from Stroud. You talk about it, because I'll...
Yeah, dude, it's the NFC. Like, yeah. I told you, we talked about this when it came down to, like, the Packers. Lamar has his thing. He beats up on NFC teams. Stroud, obviously, this is something that's a little bit more new. Like, this is only his second year in the league, so I'm not going to sit here and say he can't beat NFC teams. But we've just kind of seen he's had more of a different type of struggle in those matchups just throughout his short history. So with that all being the case, I am expecting things to be very similar. I think Mixon might struggle a little bit in the grounds, and I think that would impact the pass game tremendously, and also not having Diggs. I mean, I know Dell is still going to be, a great play, especially having Collins and Dell back, guys that he's had chemistry with, but versus opponents like Detroit, where I know you can beat up on the secondary, it's going to come down to, winning one-on-ones, and thank God they're going to have Nico Collins back for this one. You'll hear him high in the rankings.
Damn right.
9, Jaden Daniels going against Pittsburgh. I don't love the matchup. You and your brother were talking about this a little bit earlier. I don't think that this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be like a 24-20, 17-16 type of game. I think Jaden Daniels is good enough to do enough to win this game. There's a lot more factors other than Jaden Daniels in this football game that's going to, add up to a win. So we'll see how it goes there. Just tough matchup for him. 8, I mean, I know this might sound kind of contradictory, but I got Daniel Jones right above Jaden Daniels. I mean, I feel like Daniel Jones has to be on the list. Last week had a huge touchdown, trucking over 2 defenders. This week going against Carolina, playing a Germany game. I mean, if the Giants don't win this game, I would be an extremely disappointed Giants fan. But at the same time, Carolina probably just got their last win of the season.
That's exactly where I'm thinking with the same thing, Steve. And I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good game, too. He is in this list as well, so we'll get there when I get there. But listen, the time to beat Carolina is right when they're coming off a win.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Germany. I think they get it done.
Yeah, I absolutely do, too. I just think the Giants' defense is going to be too good, and I would love to have Bryce seeing Ghost or whatever they see over in Munich. So, flag football playoffs, right before that, so I'll miss the start of it. But I'll definitely have some action in that. Neighbors will be back this week. He'll see a trip to the end zone. Tracy too,
buddy. It's gonna be a while till we get to Neighbors, pal. I can let you know that right now.
Oh, absolutely. I love to hear that. 7 to finish up the back end. I have Jared Goff going against Houston. I mean, the dude has more touchdowns than incompletions in the past 6 weeks. Like,
love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild.
Steve, we have a pretty similar list. A lot of very, very similar names here. 12, I got Stafford. 11 is where I have DJ. Think it's going to be a good week for him. Think he can scramble for a touchdown as well. 10, I got Jaden Daniels. I think very similarly with this Pittsburgh matchup's tough. I almost debated not putting Jaden Daniels in here, but like,
you have to.
It's Jaden fucking Daniels.
You have to, yeah.
Like, he's that guy.
Yeah.
9. I think they win this week, and he's in here, and I think he has a good week because this is a beatable defense, and it's Aaron Rodgers here at 9. Yeah. I don't think that he's this flashy fantasy guy, but I think he's going to get the 19-20 this week that he needs to be in the rankings. No Rodgers. Yeah, understandable. Like, he's not going to be in the top 6 or top 5. 6 for quarterbacks. Math, dude. Thank God I'm not counting these ballots.
Yo, come on.
8, Jared Goff. Right there with you. This guy's got the best completion percentage I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, he literally just straight up goes like 16 for 16, chills, couple touchdowns. Dude, he had a game where he had 85 yards, 3 touchdowns, and like 8 for 8.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Detroit can literally beat you however the fuck they want.
Yeah, legit.
It's insane.
Dude, that's a huge testament to being a contender. Absolutely.
I love it. And they're complementing it with defense right now, so I like to see it. Steve at 7. I got Darnold.
Okay.
I think Darnold's going to play pretty good this week. I think that matchup, like you said, is winnable for him. It could be a higher spread. Could be dicey. I think there should be some points in this game, which there might not be any points in this game.
At 6, this is where I have Baker going against San Francisco. I do know that San Francisco has a good defense. I just kind of feel like Baker's kind of been defense proof. Like if like I know he didn't have a stupid amount of yards going against Kansas City, but like 200, very efficient. And honestly, if he had a little bit more help on the outside, then things might have been very different in that game. And honestly, like I don't fault Todd Bowles for just playing for like the coin toss either. Like I feel like that's like the right way to do it. It's like, all right, are you really gonna have your group of guys lose at the end of regulation, or like you're gonna give yourself a chance on the coin toss? Because I like my chances better on the coin toss than I do on the 2-point conversion.
I 100%. I agree too. People are so quick to like shit on Todd Bowles for that. It's like, dude, like he's the coach in the NFL and he's coaching a winning organization after the greatest quarterback of all time left. So why don't you calm down? You're not the fucking coach over there, guys.
No, absolutely. I just know like no matter what the decisions are at the end of the game, it's always gonna come down to that being questioned by all the coaches sitting on the couch. So
it is, literally. I'm like, dude, I would have done this if I was Todd Bowles. You're not Todd Bowles, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. 5, I got Purdy in the same game. I think these guys are going to have very similar days. I'll give you a prop on both of these guys. Take both of their overs on their yardage. It's always like 10, 12, 15. Bro, they scramble for that in like one play. Like Baker legit had that in like the first quarter. Easy money. Helped me win $300 last night. 4, Darnold going against Jacksonville.
Nice.
I feel like the matchup's like too easy, but something's a little fishy about
Vegas pulling
this
that
one.
shit with the -4. -4 is an ugly looking line, dude.
No, it definitely is. So it's not the only one. Like Buffalo is -4 this week, and I'm just like, I'm sick of betting. Like the past 2 weeks, I've said out with my chest, Seattle, Miami. Buffalo is beating me. I can't sit here against Indy as much as I want you guys to win. Gotta side with Kev. So
especially because Flacco looked like fucking flatulence.
I mean, I don't want to put it like all on him. Like I thought that there was some plays that like could have gone like a little bit different. It was a winnable game, but I mean, I definitely could have told you Anthony Richardson would have done any better. So
I needed him to score 6 points to win fantasy.
Wow. And he didn't put up 6 fantasy points?
4 and like half. We're not doing good with Joe Flacco. He had a fumble and a pick.
Wow. Yeah, that'll do it.
How about 1 turnover, not 2?
Yeah, that'll do it.
I would have won.
Yeah. 3. Bring my graces to your fantasy rankings.
Okay.
Tua here at 3. No.
I'm so done.
Oh my god, bro! They're gonna light it up versus that Rams secondary.
Dude, listen, Miami's gonna show to me first, bro. It's like I don't think that offense is shit without HN.
Okay, I get it. I think this is the week you're proving otherwise, and that's why he's here at 3.
Who knows,
on
bro?
the
I'm
rankings.
fucking Mush City over
here.
So.
2, I have Josh Allen. And 1, I have Jalen Hurts.
Love it.
Really could have put either one of those guys at 2 and 1. I think points are scored for Tua versus the Rams, like I talked about that matchup with Stafford. But with 2 and 1, I just feel like these guys are playing some of the best football in the entire NFL. So how could I put them in any other positioning?
That's hard for you because 1 and 2, like, they're both playing on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So like, that's a hard thing to make.
No, I know. Oh, you're saying you're 1 and 2? Yeah. No, I know.
And the ones that will be 1 and 2, I'm telling you, these quarterbacks are going to have days.
No, that's like always the tough part. Like you're talking about Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, like these guys not in the rankings. That
Dude, even like T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, like these guys are in fantasy rankings now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Steve at 6, I'm right there with you. Baker Mayfield, even when he throws 2 picks, if he throws no picks, listen, he's going to throw the 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, clean game. If he throws 2 picks, 3 picks, he's going to throw 4 touchdowns and for 380 yards.
Yeah.
So regardless of what happens, Baker Mayfield's going to get your
slinger.
points. He's slinging, and he's running the football. So awesome dude, awesome player. 5, I got Jalen Hurts, another awesome dude, another awesome player. Love the match. I
12 touchdowns and no turnovers the past 4 weeks.
I understand that, but I have Burrow and Lamar in here. I have Burrow and Lamar in here. So he's at 5.
Even still though.
I don't know, man.
Okay, no, it's all good.
Purdy's cooking at 4. I think Purdy's going to cook this week.
I would have definitely put Hurts above him.
Oh, you think so?
Definitely.
We get to find out Sunday night, baby.
Yeah.
Sunday day?
No, day.
Sunday day. All right. We'll find out during the day Sunday. No, dude, I mean this Bucks. Like, dude, even Mahomes played well against the Bucks. Isn't that crazy to say?
Yeah.
Finally didn't throw a fucking pick against the Buccaneers. 3, got Josh Allen. Stud. 2 I got Burrow, 1 I got Lamar. It's Lamar's week. He's gonna outplay Burrow. Well, listen, Burrow's gonna sling. He's gonna throw for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, maybe a pick. Lamar's gonna throw for 270, 3 touchdowns. 65 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown.
Wow.
Dude, Lamar's having a day. Lamar's getting a 30-point game this week.
This season, Lamar only has 2 games under 200 passing yards.
Dude, he's buff.
Which is crazy.
And they wanted to call him a running
back. Can't pass the ball.
Yeah, how about you can't see?
Yeah.
How about that? My goodness.
All right,
Before we start cursing all these Lamar haters, let's go.
Twan, last week we switched it. What are we starting with for the next section?
Let's go back to original.
Okay.
We'll go OG again.
Backs.
Yep.
Okay. 20. Hubbard going against the Giants. Just feel like...
Dude, what the... We both had Hunter Henry at 10. We both had Stafford at 12. We both have Hubbard at 20.
Who's your 20 on receivers?
Puka.
Oh, wow. That's a bad spot. Buddy throws one punch and he gets demoted in the rankings.
Listen, dude, he might be this guy's on like a KO streak right now. Yeah. He might, after 3 plays, he might catch 75 yards of touchdown and then just throw across and end the night.
I'm happy Puka's on a KO streak because it's definitely not your UFC picks.
Bro, don't you talk about Max Holloway like that. You leave his ass alone. You leave his fucking ass alone. He's been through a lot.
Hey, you want to poke the bear? That's how you poke the bear. Tell him his MMA shit sucks.
Robert Whittaker too, my Pookie Bear. You leave him alone. You leave this fucking guy alone.
Insert Twan shaving the goatee right now. Yeah.
If Cody Garbrandt gets knocked out this weekend, I'm done.
19. Stevenson going against Chicago. He's been too solid, too consistent for that offense. I feel like they're going to need that TOP, time of possession, versus a defense like that. Just don't think that they're going to be good enough to win. But enough volume here. 18. Najee against Washington. Najee's definitely had more of an uptick in the second half, and I know that that's something that you've been, very adamant about. It's still not like 15 plus, and I know that's just not really like getting in the end zone, and that's something I would like to see from him in a contract year and everything. Do I think like Pittsburgh would entertain the conversation of bringing him back? Like, yeah, like I think it might be more of like a 1 year, $6 million type of deal, and it's like, hey, like, are we going to do this? Are we going to draft it back? Like, are we still going to go committee with Arthur Smith there? Who knows, like, what the direction's going to be? He don't even freaking know. That stash will
He's
give all the
literally
direction.
just, like, going day to day to just keep a job.
Right. 17, I got Swift going against New England. I just think the rushing and receiving will be a huge impact versus that defense. They'll end up tiring them out, beating it up. Wouldn't be surprised if Roschon Johnson gets in the end zone in this one. 16, I got Hunt going against Denver. I mean, Hunt has been a plug-and-play starter since he's been, active and Pacheco went down. But enjoy it while you can. I know it's only going to be for a couple more weeks. I don't want to say that he's not going to be fantasy relevant because they could just ease Pacheco in knowing, like, what the injury is and things like that. But I think it's just kind of even more scary, like, for Kansas City that, like, they're going to have 2 backs like this that can run the ball. P. Ryan's been catching it a shit ton. I know they like keeping Steele involved too, so it's just like this team literally loaded up, like Uche on the defense and shit like that too. So 15, JK going against Tennessee. JK balled out last week. I'm not expecting another 2 touchdown performance, but he keeps that offense going. Like, he really does. He's the best player in that offense this year, if you don't want to count, like, offensive linemen. Herbert, I think, is just taking a little bit more time getting acclimated, or maybe it's just, like, the game style that, Harbaugh likes to play,
I think Harbaugh's trying to, like, make it simple for him. I think he's really trying to slow it down, like, make sure that he can get his fundamentals under wraps, because Justin Herbert just had freaky talent when he was playing with Staley, but, like, it's like he didn't know how to be coached. He was just this guy with a spur of talent, and he didn't know how to, like, reel things in.
I do just kind of feel like he's just, like, a little bit too compressed to, like, what his play style and skill was, though.
I know. I think this is a part of Harbaugh's plan, though, because they're going out there and winning games. I think he's just saying, like, listen, Herbert, we're going to go out there and win football games, and we're going to continue to build, but let's not just leave it all out there right now. Because they have a bunch of winnable games that they've played and that they can play. I think they're just focusing on getting Justin Herbert to understand what winning feels like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, they would take this all day over whatever was going on with Staley and things like that. And, maybe next year, like, that's a team that scores a little bit more points. But, I mean, Herbert's already gotten paid, so it's not like he's going anywhere or anything like that. 14, James Cook at India. I mean, this is a little bit low. If you want me to be honest with, like, the matchup it is. I know that there's, like, a lot of guys that they have to feed, and talked about that with Josh Allen a little bit. But this is just such an in-depth top 13. Like, it really is. Like,
Yeah.
it sucks for me to sit here and say that I have Gibbs and Monty at 12 and 13, but it's the way it is with the way the rankings go this week. And like you said, keep in mind, like, this is without a Kenneth Walker or a Josh Jacobs, like, in the rankings. So,
or a Chase Brown or a Derrick Henry for you. Like, that's
like,
how it's...
Bro, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the best running back list, like, we've had all year. And actually, when everybody said that this was going to be, a big receiving league, I actually feel like it's the year of, like, the running backs in the NFL.
100%. Because everyone got ready to defend the Pats, and all of a sudden it's like, well, fuck, we can't defend the run now.
Yeah.
That's why Detroit's so successful. They said, basic, stop the run. We'll go shootout with you. Absolutely. We're going to stop the run and make sure you don't beat us like that.
And for somebody that, like, talks about fantasy football, like, throughout, 365 days of the year, I would never recommend somebody to have, like, the Monty Gibbs stack on a fantasy team. But honestly, that's worked out so much better than, like, trying to get, like, Breece Hall in, like, the first and then, like, an ETN in the second, which is crazy because Gibbs and Monty, you literally probably could have got it, like, back end 2, early
like
3,
6.
and, like, yeah. And it's just, like, that's why it's a value thing when it comes to fantasy football.
Couldn't agree
all
more.
day. And 11, Aaron Jones, like another great matchup going against Jacksonville. I think this is the week he gets in the end zone. I know he's been a little bit deprived of that since like their trip to London and stuff. But Jacksonville, I definitely think that if they settle things down and stay consistent on the ground, Aaron Jones will see that end zone for sure.
I agree. Especially if Minnesota's winning, they're going to score points.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be through Aaron Jones. 20, like we said, Chuba Hubbard, same thing. Crazy that we've been running the same numbers. 19, listen, the guy scored like 14 and a half last week. It's time for him to score 10. It's James Conner.
Okay.
Got him here at 19. 18, this is going to be low, especially compared to the matchup, but like I think that the receivers are the guys that the players are trying to get involved, the team's trying to get involved, just to make sure things go okay. And I have Breece Hall here at 18.
Okay.
I'm going to put him in because it's Arizona.
He just doesn't really score like that. And
He's
like
not
the
scoring
yardage total that he gets is like tremendous.
Yep.
It really is. He's involved in the passing game, running the ball like really well too. But it's just like every single time it gets down to like the 25 and in, it's just like, all right, let's play ISO ball on the outside. Yeah.
That's literally what it is. It's Adams and Wilson. And like that's like Rodgers really wants to control it. And I think by passing, he feels like he's in a little bit more control. So I that's my logic for that. 17, I got Najee, so very close to where you had him. This guy's going to be really around that 15 to 20 all season long. He's going to get you the 13, 14 points that you're going to get. He's going to get 80 yards, might get in the end zone, maybe gets a catch or two for 20 yards. But I like the way Najee's played this year. Again, it's not the Derrick Henry season that I was hoping for, but he's playing good football. Like he's playing winning football too. So 16, Kareem Hunt. This guy has just had his career rejuvenated with the Chiefs. Pretty much picked up
on
where he
the
left
couch.
Off. It's literally on the couch, got up. And he's the same thing with the Browns last year. Nick Chubb goes down, they call up, Kareem Hunt, come play. He's effective.
And I honestly think like he's done enough not to get like a long-term contract. Like he'll never sign like a 3-year deal or anything like that. But maybe like a 2-year contract with like a second-year option. Like you know what I mean? Or just maybe a little bit more like respect towards like the dollar amount. Because I feel like that's why he was out of a job. It wasn't because like the skill. It was like this dude probably wanted like $3-4 million at like week 2 or 3, and like you just probably don't want to pay that for like a running back at that point in time. So
for sure.
But I think it goes to show you that like if you have the proper offensive line, it really doesn't matter who's back there.
Yep. As long as they know how to hit the hole, that's it. 15, DeAndre Swift. I like the matchup against New England this week. I think he's going to play pretty well. Like you said, passing, catching, he'll get involved. 14, whichever running back for the Commanders plays. If it's Eckler, if it's B-Rob, I got him here at 14. Tricky matchup against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I don't have either of them in. I'm a big B-Rob guy. You know how much like I've talked about him. I took Eckler to score. He won me some money this past weekend. So obviously going against the Giants, I know my team and I know where I can bet. And if I'm going to take the loss anyway, I'd rather make some money.
I know.
But I don't have either of them in. I just feel like Pittsburgh is really going to say, all right, you want to beat us? Beat us in the air one-on-one, Joey Porter versus McLaurin. I feel like Pittsburgh feels confident in that, with Minka doing his thing in the back, and it's just like, all right, who's going to beat us next? Dayemi Brown?
It's like they're going to have, I feel like Jaden Daniels going to be running for his life all night.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like the game's going to go, and we're going to really see what he can do in that situation, because if he comes out on top, if he's running away from J.J. Watt, throwing balls off balance, downfield to a one-on-one Terry matchup and it's perfectly placed, you're like, this dude is something else. Like, he's already something else, but if he can start doing that to a Pittsburgh defense that we've seen, holy shit, dude, watch out.
I think this is like a legitimate team that the Commanders are going to play, and that's kind of why I think it's going to be more of a little pop for them.
Yep, I feel that. 13, Chase Brown. I love the activity this guy's had. The way he's getting involved. He's killing it. He looks good in the passing game, the rushing game. He's just found his role in that offense. He's the RB to have, not Zach Moss. It's Chase Brown. 12, it's your boy. It's Tyrone Tracy. Tyrone Tracy gets in the end zone this week. Right, guys? He's gonna get in against Carolina. It's a tale as old as time. Teams can run on Carolina. Tyrone Tracy's played well. He's going to get in the end zone. I thought he was going to do it last week. He gets it done this week. He gets in the end zone at 11. Aaron Jones, same exact story as you had.
10. The return.
Of who?
CMC in the rankings
Wow,
here at 10.
He's back.
I couldn't give him a top spot just because, like, I don't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
But I know there's a lot of you guys that have been out here waiting for this. And, I mean, from what we're told, he's good to go. So that's the expectation. CMC here at 10.
All right.
But, of course, we got to show love to Tracy. So Tracy here at 9, right above CMC.
Love that. The real GOAT.
Yeah. No, I have to. I think going against Carolina, I think the Giants are going to try and play very simple football.
Yep.
Run it. Don't turn it over. Play great defense. That's what we've tried to establish
Play
all
action.
year. And this is a team that, like, I do actually feel like we can consistently do that against. And it's like, yeah, we can do that, like, first drive, second drive of the game. Then light it up. Give Malik Neighbors a one-on-one with whoever is covering him, and best of luck to that guy.
Yep.
You
JC
know?
Horn's getting cooked.
Yeah, absolutely. 8, JT going against Buffalo. I like the matchup. Like, I think Jonathan Taylor can get in the end zone. Dude, it's a deep list. It's a really deep list. 7 is Kamara against Atlanta. I think whoever, Derek Carr's back at quarterback, but whoever the coach is for the Saints, I think they know the importance of this game, and you know all the rah-rah and the hype that comes around having like that interim coach come in for one game. You do everything for the guy, and then it's like, well, the rest of the season you win one and then lose 5 straight.
Yeah,
after
I
that.
know. It's
the way it goes. 6, I got Mixon. Actually, don't love the positioning. I just feel like he has the chance to get in the end zone once, if not twice, if they get close. And, you know, the Aiden Hutchinson injury is going to impact it. I don't know how acclimated Zadarius Smith is going to be. I mean, I know you can put him in a blue jersey and say go line up and rush the passer or stop the run. But I just kind of feel like it's a little bit more complex when you have two teams like as good as they are. I was
going to say,
going
you're playing the
against each
Houston
other.
Texans. CJ Stroud's going to be like, yeah, he's coming. We're going to go here.
Absolutely. 5, I got Achane. I absolutely agree with you. Like, he's been lights out when 2 is in the lineup. When he's not, like, his play has drastically been impacted, which is crazy for a running back. But if he wants to catch 6 balls, I'll be taking his over on receiving yards or the rushing and receiving line all day long, because even at 100, like, that was, like, good shit. Like, that shit covered with ease. 4 is where I have Brees. I feel you. I just feel like one of these big runs that he gets, like, has to just be broken out.
He has to score. Like, he has to not get tackled at the 1.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how often, like, that's actually happening for all the running backs in the league. And then Braylon Allen will just go and, like, push it in and shit like that. Absolutely wild. But Brees he's been doing a lot with the touches that he's been getting. 3 is where I have Bijan going against New Orleans. I feel like he's a lock for 100 rushing and receiving. 2, Kyron back in the end zone this week. You could take that. I'll be taking that. And 1, Saquon going against Dallas. I mean, I feel like 7 points is the easiest spread. Like, for
40 burger from Saquon this week.
Yeah, I mean, after you saw the backwards hurdle, like, what else do you expect?
Dude, he's so fucking good at football.
I hope, like, Joe Shane loses sleep every single night over this
He
decision.
probably does. He literally probably does.
I mean, like, what? Like, I just want to know, like, what did you not see that, like, you didn't think, like, he could have done this for another 2 years? Like, I understand not giving him, like, a 3-4 year contract, shit like that. But 2 years, $35 million, like, I would have gave that to him all day long.
Yeah, he's fucking...
We're going to be paying Daniel Jones for the next 3 years.
Did you see the conversation that he and Saquon had, like, over the phone?
Yeah.
That was, like... He's looking out for Saquon a little bit there, too, but, like, he's...
But he's playing his cards,
He's got to. Like, it's just... that is a hard situation to be in, because, like, the Eagles with a team that's like, we're ready to win right now. We'll give you the money that you want. Where the Giants are like, dude, like, we sign you. We're going to run into some issues with, like, building around you. It's just going to be you.
Yeah, like, if they sign Saquon realistically, we probably can't get Brian Burns.
No, I agree. You can't get Brian Burns. You might... I don't know, you would struggle to like have someone come over in the offseason again next year too. So we'll see. I think
it was a move that needed to be made. Like we were gonna win this amount of games if he was here or not.
I know. That's why it's a tough decision to have. It's just the way he's playing in Philly right now is insane.
Hard to justify.
Steve at 10, I got James Cook. So nothing too flashy. I got him here in the top 10 because I think he's a very good player. I think he's got a pretty decent matchup. But again, volume is the thing that I'm looking at here with them mixing in Ray Davis and him scampering for 60 yards and a touchdown somehow on my bench.
Yeah, right. On one play, bro.
Yeah, it literally just happens. 9, I got Joe Mixon. So again, I feel pretty similarly to you. I think it's hard to run on this Lions defense. But if they get in the red zone, like he's the guy to score the touchdown for him. So I got Mixon in here, and he's effective in the passing game too. 8, I got JT exactly where you had him. I think that you can run on Buffalo, and I think JT will do that this week. I think they're going to focus more on giving the ball to JT this week too. I think he was a little underwhelmed with their performance last night. 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. 7, I got Gibbs. He's the guy. Gibbs is the guy. I know I'm short-circuiting it out here. Gibbs is the guy.
Oh,
this dude, like, I'm taking Monty touchdown because I'm like, all right, they've given enough to Gibbs. It's time for them to, screw some people over and give it to Monty for a touchdown. Nope, Gibbs the guy. All right. So I'm putting Gibbs here at 7. Kyron at 6. This might be low. He gets in the end zone.
Doesn't have a crazy yard day.
Yeah, maybe not a crazy yard day. Maybe not as involved in the catching game. But I think Kamara has a big day. I think, like you said, new coach. It's, hey, here's your best player. It's Alvin Kamara because Chris Olave's still sleeping.
Bro touched the ball 30 times last week, had 150-plus yards, and still didn't get in the end zone.
I know. Fucking crazy. But even if he has that performance, it's like, dude, he's top 5 again. So, 4, I got Devon Achane.
Fire him up.
Like, no, dude, he's...
Fire him up.
Fire him up. That's it. Like, that's all that needs to be said. 3, Derrick Henry. This dude could be, he really could be one here, bro. He might scamper, but I think the fucking Ravens are going to beat them everywhere. Literally, I think they mix everybody in this week, but I got Derrick Henry here at 3 with a 25-plus yard point performance, 2 with a 25-plus point performance, Bijan Robinson, and 1, Saquon with a 40-burger.
Okay, 40-burger. I love to hear that. Coming over to the wide receivers, this guy's not going to see 40 probably for the rest of the season combined. CD Lamb, unfortunately. Unfortunately, dude, like, fantasy playoffs are 4 weeks away, and like this dude just lost his quarterback. Like, luckily, like first week of playoffs, like he's supposed to get Dak back, but I mean, like, what are you supposed to do the next 4 weeks? Like, you have to start CD, and like that's my whole thing. Is like I didn't even want to have him in the rankings. I mean, I'm missing a lot of guys like here with no Bengals, no Ravens, Seahawks, Packers. But with that all being said, I mean, you have to start CD if you have him on your team, unless you're talking about like you got like Garrett Wilson and MHA and Justin Jefferson and like a crazy core, like whatever the case is. But I know most people don't, like, because that's a normal fantasy team, and it's going to be tough sledding over the next couple weeks. Like, but you do have to play him. Just lower your expectations drastically.
He's your wide receiver too now.
Yeah, 19. I have Downs. I just don't feel like Pittman's like involved enough. So I just feel like Downs is getting 50-plus yards consistently. He's getting like 6 catches. PPR leagues, that's 10 points. Like, that's enough. And if he gets to the end zone, that's great.
Dude, he gets separation too. Like, I like his footwork. I like how he's been improving.
Killing it. So. Absolutely. Great slot guy. 18. Just feel like the wide receivers have played too poor over the past couple weeks. Back in Chicago, they're going to eat it up. I don't know if it's going to be versus Gonzo or who it's going to be, but I have DJ Moore here. DJ Moore or Keenan Allen are going to have a huge day. One of these two guys. Not sure. Maybe it's Rome because he's the third guy, and it's just like the way it goes. But one of these wide receivers is going to have a huge day, and Caleb might as well. So we'll see what happens. 17, D-Hop. Fire him up. Don't care if it's Surtain. I feel like the Chiefs have a knack for scheming their guys open. And like Travis Kelce runs loose routes, right? He's not a guy that's like a technician on his routes. Like, he's taking steps in creating his separation by filling it out. So it's like, all right, if a guy's playing me on the inside, I have the option to run that outside. If a guy's playing me on the outside, I have the option to, like, if someone's underneath me, I can take it up. Like, I love that him and Mahomes have that relationship, and, like, Andy Reid allows them to have that, to just kind of, make that happen. I do feel like that's going to be the same case for D-Hop, and I just think, like, if he's going to see one-on-ones because they have to respect the ground game and Kelce, he's going to beat that all day. And it's just like, I know, like, he's made his money and he loved his play in Tennessee and like all that, but I'm like, bro, like,
he loved his 1 year in Tennessee that he played half the games.
But dude, like it's just not only that, like, D-Hop, bro, like if you were at Kansas City like 3 years ago, like think what this team could have been.
I know.
Think what you could have done in your career.
They literally won 2 Super Bowls, and it's like they could have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
We don't talk about 17 or 18.
16, Mooney. Going against New Orleans, I think if London's going to be a guy that might be a little bit hampered or is coming off of an injury, we know how easy it is for him to, have an uptick in production. We'll be hammering that line unless it's like 5.5 on the receptions. 5.5 is just like too much for a guy like that.
He'll get 5.
Yeah, if it's 4.5, yeah, and I'm never taking an under on that. Never. If it's 4.5, I'll be taking the over, so I'll be looking for that. Right above him, Shakir going against Indy. I just feel like he's the shifty guy. I do know that Kenny Moore will likely be on him. It's just kind of too hard for me to pick between like Keon Coleman or like Amari Cooper, like which one of those two guys is going to play well. Shakir seems very consistent and is probably the best after the catch out of all of those guys. Right above him, 14, Pickens going against Washington. I know that they got some cornerback help coming in, but I just think like they're going to try and find ways to get Pickens the ball more, especially with Russ at quarterback. And if Washington tries to stop the run, like he's a guy that they're going to target often. 13, BTJ, crazy. This guy was 2 weeks ago, a chest injury, going to be out for a little bit. Never missed a beat. And it seems like teams can pass on Minnesota at this point in the season. Earlier, the defense did look a little bit more stout than it was. 12, I got Garrett Wilson, the only Jets receiver on the rankings. Feel like if the number one is going to be on Devontae, like this dude is kind of eating up like that second corner like all day long, and he's made some pretty tremendous grabs over the past couple weeks to help elevate the Jets' production. In 11, I have Debo going against Tampa Bay. He's going to touch the ball a shit ton, and we'll likely have a 70-plus day.
That's great, Steve. 20, I had Puka.
Low.
It is low. I don't know that he's the guy this week. We'll get to Coop in a little bit. Lad McConkey here, I got number 19.
Like it. I don't have him, but
I think he's getting involved. Like, he's getting involved, and it's a little bit more every week. I like him to continue to get involved, and he gets open. He's a good player, so I'm going to put him here at 19. 18, Deontay Johnson.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man, I think it's going to be that kind of game against the Bengals this week. I think everyone's going to get a little bit of a share, and Deontay Johnson. You think he leapfrogs Bateman right away? Because I don't. I think this week he's gonna. Yeah? I think he's gonna be the guy that gets open this week. Okay. Well, one of the guys that gets open this week. Because Zay is in this list, right? Right. Zay's in this list. I promise. 17, I got Devontae Adams. Not crazy high. I agree. I think Wilson's the better guy this week. But I'm going to put Devontae Adams in here because it's just a beatable defense. Like, you're playing Arizona. I think it's going to be a good matchup, but I'm going to stay consistent. I had Brees here at 18 because I really think they passed the ball well this week. So I'm going to put Devontae at 17. Josh Downs at 16. Another guy that I have in my rankings here has played really well, and he's the guy for Indianapolis right now. Sorry, McAfee.
Yeah.
15, I got Devonta Smith. This guy's a dog.
That's way too low.
I'm expecting A.J. Brown to play. Just saying it.
All right, but last week you knew A.J. Brown was playing. You had him at 12 and Devonta at 6. What changed?
I was right.
I know you were.
And I'm right there. Dude, you don't know about my crystal ball?
Oh.
No, you ready? Devonta's going to be fine. He's going to get 7 catches,
Buddy,
52 yards.
That's the worst crystal ball I've ever seen.
7 catches, 52 yards. That's the score this week.
Oh, my God. He's going to do so much more than that.
You think?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Oh, you'll find out, buddy.
When Saquon's dropping a 40 burger, Devonta Smith isn't dropping a 20 burger.
All right.
I can tell you that right now.
All right. Looks like we need a trip to Good Burger.
There we go. Yeah. Try out Shaq's new chicken place, by the way. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
No free
14.
promo, Twan. Come on.
Quick promo, right. 14, T. Higgins, first of the Bengals receivers in here. Dude, I think he's going to eat too. Both receivers are going to eat. I've been saying it all day. Shootout on Thursday night. T. Higgins is going to get in the end zone. 13, I got Cooper Kupp. I think he's going to be the guy that's better for the Rams this week. But when you mix in Puka, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, it's like that's why each of them are not tough. All in their respective ones because it's not everyone's going to score 30.
For sure.
12, I got A.J. Brown, so nothing too crazy high. Again, it's a big Saquon week, so the passing options will be there, but Philly goes up early, Philly goes up often, Philly runs the football, Saquon scores twice. 11, Khalil Shakir.
Okay.
Love the way Shakir plays, dude. Yeah. He's the guy to get open. He's the consistent guy. You said it perfectly.
Absolutely. 10. This is where I have A.J. Brown. So I do have A.J. behind Devonta Smith in these rankings. I do just kind of feel like if he is, like I know they said they avoided a major injury, there's still an injury there. So, like, I do expect that to be a little bit prevalent. But we'll see what happens in how the game script kind of goes there. Obviously expecting them to get up a shit ton. At 9.
Sorry.
At 9, this is where I have Cup. Without Puka, I mean, he just went back and took like his place. It's gonna be tough predicting who has the big game, just kind of like you were mentioning there. But I just think like his play and like what he does after the catch is enough to stay in that top 10 conversation. Right above him, 8 is Nakua. Not gonna add on to that too much. Just think like both of these guys can be the 10 target, 10 reception guy of the week and put up over 100. At 7, this is where I have Malik Neighbors going against Carolina, and honestly, like, this could be a little bit low, but just have a bunch of respect for the guys, obviously, throughout the rest of this list. Carolina's the matchup that you obviously want to be going against if you're a wide receiver that's struggling a little bit. They're going to get right this week. At 6, this is where I have Drake London going against New Orleans. Look, when London suits up and plays, like, he balls. Like, I know he left the game last week, but he still scored a touchdown before he did, so.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Me and Kenny were pissed.
Yeah, no, obviously you were, but when you can do a headstand like that, like, that's pretty impressive, because, like, with a helmet on, like, I still wouldn't be able to do that shit.
I thought Drake London do the headstand.
Yes, he did.
I thought that was Amon-Ra that did the whole...
They both did.
I didn't see Drake London.
Yeah, clearly. You were probably still heading over here by the time that happened.
Sorry, the granny was fucking busted his hip on the way.
Yeah, I know.
On the way back to the locker room.
At 5, this is where I have Devonta Smith. I think he's going to ball out. Like I talked about that. I think he's going to have a shit ton of receptions. And honestly, like, he's kind of had like a very quiet year. I know he doesn't score as often as we would like him to, but huge part of moving that ball up and down the field if they try to shut down Saquon. Try. At 4, this is where I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at Houston. Look, Amon-Ra's been balling. I think that this is a game that they're going to need to keep him heavily involved. I want to say that points are going to be scored here, but I also just think like we could see some good defenses be played. So will be very interesting, but still think 80 yards for St. Brown. 3, this is where I have Tyreek against the Rams. Fire up, Tyreek. Look, I know he said that a couple weeks ago because he was amped that Tua was back. 100 plus in a touchdown this week versus the Rams, bro.
All right, my brother, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you'll see when I'm showing you the slip before the podcast next Tuesday. 2 is where I got Nico Collins. Welcome back. Didn't skip a beat. Didn't have to see a single thing to give him back. Give him a 2 spot. I originally had him 1, but I'm like, I have to give JJ 1 because, like, this dude is just, like, so freaking good. It's crazy.
He's
so
the best
I don't even need to elaborate anything else. JJ at 1.
He's so fucking good. Steve at 10, it's Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
I think he's going to ball out.
Fine.
I think he's going to have a great game.
That's
and I think
with
it's
no
a good
London?
matchup for him. With no London. Even with London. Dude, Mooney's going to be the guy this week. Even if London plays, Mooney's going to be the guy that gets in the end zone. Mooney's going to be... Because there's who's covering him?
Yeah.
It's not Lattimore anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to Paulson
The
Adebo.
third
maybe.
guy? Yeah,
Maybe, but if London plays, then it's not Paulson Adebo. So I guess we'll see.
Even Ray McLeod could be a good fire up, too.
He could be a good fire.
Yeah.
That might be a good, like, over 2.5 catches or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
9, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Got him a little low compared to where you have him. Yes. Dude, the Lions are just like, they're one of these teams. Like, Amon-Ra got in the end zone. He's been playing well. But I just think they're going to be able to run the football here against Houston this week. So I think they're going to be able to do that. I got Gibbs up high on this list. I think Amon-Ra still plays well. He's a top 10 guy, but I got him at 9 this week. 8, I got Garrett Wilson. think he gets in the end zone. think he has a very good week, and I think he shows that he's just more in his prime than Devontae Adams right now. 7, Brian Thomas Jr., brother.
Yeah.
They can sling on this team,
Yeah.
and he's the guy. Like, he's going to get
Tunnel vision, 13 catches
100%.
this week. Yeah.
In the 100-yard mark. Just get Brian Thomas the ball as much as you can. 6, it's CeeDee.
Yeah.
I understand. But again, like I said with Fergie, you're going to go to your best option. CeeDee's that guy. I think he's going to get balls behind the line of scrimmage. And I also think he's going to get like a couple of sweet plays, like randomly given to him, because I think they just want to get him involved, get the ball, make things easy for Cooper Rush.
For sure.
So I'm going to go with CeeDee here at 6. Nico Collins at 5.
Ooh.
Could be a little. Listen, I know you had him at 2, but I got 2 guys that are playing in a game.
You got Jamar in there.
Yep. And at 4, I got Zay.
Okay. I mean, it's a little spicy. I still would have, if I had Zay in the ranking, I still would have had Nico above him. But
I'm sure you. Listen.
Yeah,
I'm staying
it's all
on
good.
point with this thing, man.
all good.
Zay Flowers is going to ball out this week. Malik Neighbors at 3. Malik is going to fucking
I love
ball.
that. I
he
love
is
that.
going to ball. 2, I got Jamar, and at 1, I got the best receiver I've watched in the past since Randy Moss played, and it's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, it's crazy. Literally averaging 100 yards a game.
Insane.
Wild stat.
Bro, don't matter whose quarterback is, bro. It can be Nick Mullins. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Since the Sandbox fans, we got some bets that we want to talk about. But as a friendly reminder, join us November 16th for our annual can drive at the Orient Heights Yacht Club. Going to be a lot of fun. Twan's not going to be there, so make sure you guys are getting all my picks that night to win money the next day. He won't be mushing any of your parlays, but no, always want to give back to the East Boston Community Soup Kitchen and the Crossroads Shelter. Get your canned goods in, come have a good time, and let's help make somebody else's Thanksgiving this year. But some bets. I wrote down a couple of games, obviously.
Yep.
I know it's early in the week, but, I mean, I feel like the Giants are a lock this week.
I love it.
I mean, I know it's...
I got the money line.
Yeah.
5 is just... they should cover. They really should cover.
Yeah.
I'm going to put their money line in a bunch of different parlays, I think,
Absolutely.
this week. I think they're going to get it done. I think it's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to give you one that I like a lot. I like Pitt +3. Dude,
Yeah.
if Pitt's an underdog playing against a rookie quarterback, I like it.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, I'm on the points there. I might even tease that up to like 6.5 just to kind of be safe. It's still going to be less than -200, so still decent odds. Saints, I'm going to be on the Saints. I know you'll probably be heavy on Atlanta. I know that's your team, but you guys know how I've been with the interim head coaches. Big on the Dolphins this week. Like, I know everyone's thinking, oh, the Rams are going to make their playoff push right now and everything like that, but I do really feel like the Dolphins going to sneak a game soon, and I think this is going to be it. The Bears over the sorry-ass Pats, Jets, and Lions.
Yeah, you had to throw that
Had
one in there.
had to.
I like a lot of those, except for one of them. Prick.
Yeah.
Philly is going to rout Dallas. 7.5 is
It's going to be like
easy, bro.
52 to like 10.
It is. It's going to be very, very ugly. Defense might even score a touchdown too.
Yeah.
That's one to look out for.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think Philly absolutely routes them this week. And the Thursday night game, man. The over is 50. Like 52 is the number.
It should go over that.
It should go over that.
It should be over 60. Honestly.
It should. I like the quarterback's passing yards in this game too. I like everybody's over. So this is a good Thursday night. Should be a good
fun
betting
one.
night, especially if you're taking yards and player
Come hang
props
at
and
Uncle
stuff.
Tony's on Thursday.
Is that the game plan? Interesting.
We're flocking up.
Oh, we're flocking up.
We're flocking up.
I mean, I am pro Ravens this week.
Pro
so
flock.
and get ready. Get ready.
Oh, man.
Get ready.
Oh, man. Since the Sandbox fans, another great one where another week closer to the fantasy football playoffs. Thanksgiving trivia in the works with so much more to come. You guys know the deal. Peace. Love. 5 stars. Nothing less.